So first of all, why is data even important to Union Bank? No? So data is not just a bunch of numbers that we report. Data, when used correctly, it's actually tells us a story. No? So data gives us clues on the state of our business, so whether what we're doing is right or what are we doing wrong. It shows us the opportunities and the threats in our business. And data can also surface certain patterns that are invisible to us, and it can even help us predict the future given certain scenarios. So that is why leveraging data is really important for us to meet our goals and vision as a bank, as a company. And that is also why a data-driven culture is very important. So let's start with the basics before we even go to artificial intelligence. No? So the basic need of any business is actually MIS and reports. So reports, dashboards, I think we're all familiar with this. It tells us, it's actually our eyes and ears. No? So it tells us what's going on. So a very good example, I would say, is LD2, wherein we use data to show us how many calls we're getting in CSG, diba? And through data, we know if the number of calls are increasing, decreasing, the answer rates and all that, what are the themes of the calls. No? So it's very important that Union Bankers are trained to become data-driven, because it enables Union Bankers to act on the data that they see. For this example, for CSG, if we are data-driven, then we know how to use this data in terms of how many resources do we need at a certain period in time, given the calls that we have, and what issues should be prioritized first. So an example of data-driven initiatives that we commonly use here in the bank are called propensity models, which are actually a form of AI. No? So if we, so our resources in the bank are very limited in terms of marketing budget, in terms of people resources. If we ask our RMs and our sales officers to call all of our customers and offer all of our products, that would be impossible, diba? And it would be very, very expensive also for the bank. So we use propensity models to actually identify which customers have a high likelihood of taking up a certain product. And at the same time, it also tells us what products certain customers are likely to take up. No? So if we know this, then we don't have to call everybody. We just contact certain customers who are really our target market, those who are interested on these products. And in this way, we customize or hyper-personalize our offers, and this makes us more efficient, makes our customers happier, and increases the return on our investments. I believe that emerging technologies such as AI are really pivotal in pushing the bank to be more data-driven. So I have two examples that we use in the bank. These are the AI that we use for AML operations and fraud detection. So through AI, we've seen that manual investigations of suspicious transactions done by the branches actually decreased by almost 40% through AI. And another example is the AI that we use for mules detection, which is part of fraud. So the fraud team can attest that since we started using this AI, we were able to proactively detect mules. And we've seen lately that the mules cases are actually going down. So this means that the mules perpetrators, the fraudsters, they're actually starting to notice that Union Bank is going to catch us. So it's really these kinds of technologies needs to be, publicized, especially in the bank, to push further the bank to be data-driven. So a data-driven culture allows Union Bank to quickly adapt to evolving digital landscape, and not only thrive, but to really lead the future of banking. So a data-driven culture keeps us from a mentality of asking, why do we need to invest in data and AI? Instead, a data-driven culture gives us a mentality of how can we use data and AI. If we all have this data-driven mentality, then we can really lead the future of banking. I don't think there's really resistance per se, because the bank already has a maturing data culture. The fact that we're having this interview today, it means that the bank, has already maturing data culture, as I said. The challenge is really to optimize the data that we have, and it's time for us to think, how do we use this data? So as the data group head, I implore all of you to start your data-driven journey. So it's actually very easy. You don't have to, take up masters and become a data scientist. You begin where you are. So the first step is really to start looking at the data you have. We have a lot of data here in the bank. Start looking at it, and then you ask yourself, what story is this data telling me? So study the patterns, the trends in the data that you see, and then highlight them. And lastly, what can I do with this, with the patterns, with the insights that I see? What are the next steps for me based on the data that you see there? So I just leave you with 2 words: start now. So very good question, because today, it's very relevant, with what's happening with in AI. So for me, I think humanizing data involves learning how to tell a story. As I said, data is not just a bunch of numbers. It's actually a story to tell. So for us to humanize data, it's very important to learn the skill of storytelling. So I think every Union banker should learn that. It's a very important skill.